Hey guys, and welcome to another Maymay Made It. I'm very excited about this project today. I love Valentine's colors and the Valentine idea, and my husband is extremely romantic, so this is kind of his holiday. Anytime there's a love thing going around, this is kind of his thing. So I actually wanted to surprise him by making a card for him this year. Well, this can be one of those Craftin It Old Schools because you don't have to have anything but scissors. So I'll show you how this works. And if you'll notice at the bottom, I hand wrote my sentiment, which says, "To my darling." So let's get started. Here's what you'll need for this project today. Let's start with the small stuff first, these little fussy bits right here. Okay, these two are 1-inch squares, so you need two 1-inch squares. You'll need a strip that's about 1/4 of an inch wide by about 2 inches. That's probably a little more than we need. We'll trim that off when we get there. You'll need one piece, a longer piece, that is a 5-inch by 1 1/4 inch, any pattern. You'll need two pieces for the vest that measure 3-inch by 5 1/2 inches, so you need two of these. And then lastly, now I did mine on a card that is just the base, it doesn't open, so my card base is going to be a 5 by 6 1/2. Now I know that's a bigger card than we usually use because we normally use an A2 card, and this one is bigger. This is the 5 by 6 1/2 size. And I wanted that because I wanted the impact of the vest. So you can certainly make this smaller, do whatever you want to with it, but this base is 5 by 6 1/2. So let's get started with the vest. Now, there are some interesting things you have to do to the vest. The first thing is we have to make the shapes, and it's pretty easy to do. What I want you to do is take a ruler, and you can use your paper trimmer for this. I actually did on my first one. I used my paper trimmer. At the top portion, what you're gonna do when you go to cut, we're gonna cut that pointed piece or whatever it is. At the top, what I want you to do is measure in 1.5 inches and make a mark. Now for you guys, I'm going to use my white gel pen. I wouldn't if I were I just use a pencil, but I'm going to make a mark at 1.5 inches so we can see that mark. Then I'm going to come around here to the other side, and going down, I'm going to make a mark at 2.5. And it doesn't have to be perfect as long as you do them both the same. Okay, so there's my 2.5 mark. And now, to save time on this cut, this is what I do. I put my pieces together like so. Now you can use your paper trimmer, but because I want you guys to be able to do this using anything, I'm going to use my scissors. If you use your paper trimmer, just line these two dots up on your paper trimmer and run the base down it. This way, you'll want to just make one smooth cut from one dot to the other, and that'll give you a good crisp line. Try not to have to do more than one swipe on that. So that's going to give us, when we open it up, you can see how that's the top of our vest. And now we need to do the funny little points at the bottom. And this is a little more confusing, but not terrible. We're still going to keep them together, but I'm going to measure them separate. All right, for the base of this one, taking your ruler again. And what you're going to do for this is you're going to measure 1 inch. Now you're going to measure 2 inches in. My bad, I'm just thinking. So 2 inches in, and make a mark at 2 inches. That'll be your point, okay? Then we're going to come up the side and make a mark at 1 inch. That's the inside piece. And then we're going to come to the other side and make a mark at 1/2 inch. Now that's going to help give us our points, and I'll show you as we go to cut. So what you have is, you have a mark at 2 inches, a mark up the side at 1, and a mark up this side at 1/2. So now we do just what we did earlier. Put the two pieces together, run from one mark to the other in one even cut, okay? And then from that point that we cut, or that dot that we drew, to the other one in one even cut. It's really not that hard. You may not get it exactly right the first time, but it won't matter. And now, even where our dots were aren't going to matter because that's the other side of the vest. So now you have your two vest pieces. Now let's prepare our vest. If you notice on my first one I showed you, there's a pattern on that vest. I'm going to show you how I did that. I took one of my Close to My Heart stamps and mounted it to my Fisker's press. And the stamp set that I'm using today for this project is this one right here, and it is called Unscripted. It's really cute. It's kind of got some flowers and things, but what I was enamored with was this pattern. I saw this and I thought, you know, that would really make a cool background. So that's what we're going to do. That pattern looks like that. That'll help you see it better. So I'll put the numbers and stuff for it in the description for you guys. All right, so what I did here, I mounted it to my Fiskars press, and I took some of my what is this one, Dado removable adhesive, and I just put some on the back of each one of these. Oh, and here's where you have to be careful. Make sure when you do this that you have them laying opposite of each other. If you don't, you'll have a mess in the end. Think I learned that the hard way? Okay, so we're going to mount this one and this one to our cutting board, our Versamat, whichever way you got. So mount them down. Now, using our Versamark ink, because you know that's just going to leave a mark and not a actual, you know, stamped image. It's just going to leave kind of the darker version of the paper you're using behind it. We're going to ink this up, and we're going to take this stamp, and what I like to do is run it to where it'll be all the way off the page, so my meetup points are, you know, in the page and not little bitty pieces at the bottom. So you're going to stamp on and off the page several times. The cool thing about this Fiskars stamp is I have some wiggle room, so I'm going to line this up as I go down and make sure to press and lift. And see that pretty design? It's really neat. I'm going to do that again. This time I'm going to come next to it. Now I'm not doing them both at the same time. I'm just going to do them one at a time. Again, with this stamp press, I can see underneath it because I have clear stamps, and I can line it up by just looking at it. So that's what I'm going to do, and I'm going to do both pieces just like that. Okay, and that is all that you'll need to get that done, is just to stamp that pattern. Go ahead and stamp the pattern, move this out of the way, and let it dry. Okay, so while our vest piece is drying, what we want to do is go ahead and adhere our cummerbund to the bottom of our card. This will be perfectly lined up where when the vest closes, we'll have a little red cummerbund. You know, my sample, I did it in plaid, but that's, you know, what really worked for the idea I was going for then. But on this one, I'm going to do it in the red. I think it'll be cute for Valentine's. And I'm going to use my ATG gun for it. Ooh. So there's that. Pretty easy. Now let's move on to the bow tie. So cute. I think you'll like this idea. Okay, you're going to need to bring your two 1-inch squares back into the picture and your little strip that we cut earlier. This is the way I kind of came up with doing this. You don't have to do this. You may have another trick for it. I'm going to use one glue dot to start, and I'm going to put that glue dot right in the point of that 1-inch square, just like that. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to turn, if you have one of these Versamats, oh my gosh, they're incredible. If you haven't purchased anything from Close to My Heart, I always say you need to get the Art Philosophy cartridge, which I do think you do, but this one is awesome because I can use that line on my Versamat to line these up, and then making sure I'm at the same angle, press them together. And there's the beginning of our bow tie. Now then, for the other part, for the actual middle part, I actually took this from hair bow making. It's kind of the way we make a hair bow, but for this little strip, what you're going to do is use some adhesive. I'm going to use the Tombow Mono adhesive on the rolly wheel. I call them a rolly wheel. I don't know what you call them, and what I'm going to do is just line it up on one end and just adhere. Just put the adhesive on the whole piece because I'm not sure exactly how much I'll need. Be sure whenever you're using your adhesive and you get it on your mat, just kind of wipe it off with your hand. So now we're going to take our bow tie. Doesn't matter which side you use. I'm going to start here and adhere one piece of that down, kind of centering it like that. Then we're going to flip it over, let it fold wherever it meets, and just lay straight. So you see where that met, I just let it fold. That's a little crooked. I'm going to lift that up a tiny bit and straighten it. And then we're going to do the same thing and let this drop behind it. So then you just press and fold. Now it touches in the back and it sticks to itself. Remember I told you we had too much anyway, so we're going to come back and peel this up a tiny bit and just you can cut it or tear it because it has enough adhesive to hold it. So there's your bow tie. How simple is that? And then what I like to do is just kind of hold it and press forward, hold it in the middle and press forward, and when I adhere it down, it'll kind of stick up. So cute, so easy. So now then, onto our pieces that have been drying over in the corner. We're going to do a little scoring, but for this, I want to use my Fiskars tool for this, which is my trimming tool. And the reason is I'm going to take my scoring blade and put inside of it because I've got to score such a tiny spot. Now, it's not a big deal if you use your score buddy, your score pal, your whatever you have that you score with normally, you can use that. But for this little bit of a project, I thought it'd be quicker just to bring this out. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to do just a tiny bit over 1/4 inch. And the reason I'm doing that measurement is because that's the width of my ATG adhesive. Whatever your adhesive is, that's what you want to use right here, is the width of that to score this line. So I have scored this line. You can see that line. Yeah, maybe you can. It's kind of hard to see, but it's scored. So there's that one. And then making sure you keep them the opposite of each other. Make sure, you know, if I put them on the card, they'll be like this. So I'm going to turn this so I can score it this way. And again, I'm just going to score it just a tiny bit over 1/4 inch because I measured, and that's what my ATG gun is. And now we can bring back in our cummerbund base. I'm going to lay this underneath, and we'll kind of get an idea for where we're going to put it. And I'm thinking about right in this area. I like it to go a little bit over the cummerbund bottom itself. So about right here. So what I'm going to do is put some adhesive on my vest panels. I'm going to turn this around because I'm right-handed. And I can see my score line, so I'm going to make sure I keep my tape inside of the score line, but not off of the paper. There we go. And now, let's put them down. Now again, I'm going to use my Versamat to kind of square this up, or you know, my background here. Just kind of get that good and square. And I'm going to look on this side, and I think I'm going to come in 3 squares, which is 3/4 inch, and lay that edge down and just run it all along the edge at the top and adhere that one down. Now I want to do the same thing over here. I want to come up 3, 1, 2, 3, put that down, run it along the white, and there we go, and just rub it. Now then, this paper is close to my heart black paper, and if you know, close to my heart has what's called white core paper, and you can kind of see that little white edge right there. I'm going to show you what I'm going to do to get rid of that. I'm going to bring in my black Stays On ink and a sponge dauber. I'm going to lift this up. I'm not going to rub, I'm going to pat this. So I want to get this dauber really wet. Can you see that kind of going away? See how it's white right here? And it's just going away. I'll keep doing that. Now then, for our bow tie. What I like to do with the bow tie, I want to be able to put this in a plain envelope. So I know this base fits in my envelope. So when I put the bow tie on, I'm going to use that top edge as my guide for where to place it. So I'm going to use glue dots to do it. There we go. Just making sure that's in the middle. It's so cute. All right, last but not least, our buttons. So easy. What I did was use some of my pearl buttons just to make it a little fancier. And these are kind of my bigger ones. And you just want to spread them out. And I think 3 is kind of the magic number for anything. Look how cute that is. So simple. The only thing you'll want to do before you give it, and we'll just do it real quick, is make sure that you bend this up on your score line so that the recipient knows to open it like that. Bring this up on my score line. But it doesn't have to be much because your bow tie will actually hold it in place, which is really kind of cute. So open your bow tie, press it back down a little bit. There you go. And then you can put your sentiment on the bottom. You can write whatever you like. The only other tiny thing I did to mine, because I thought it made it look more like shoulders, was take my crocodile on the 1/2 inch corner rounder section, and I rounded these corners out a little bit. And that's pretty much it, guys. I hope you enjoyed it. I think it's really cute. I'll have some pictures of it for you to see up close, but maybe this will get your Valentine started. Thanks so much. Have a good one. Bye-bye.